This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com. Welcome. This is your daily dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today is 4/12/21. This is show number 243. Well, Options X is coming this Friday, Nick, but what are the markets doing today?
Well, today we have kind of a little bit of a downtick. It's not a heavy sell-off by any means, but we are seeing some weakness in the NASDAQ composite, which is down about 0.7%. The Russell 2000 is the big loser, down about almost 0.9%. And then you have the Dow, the big winner, basically just down 0.25%. The S&P is also down just under 0.25% as well. So a little bit of a mixed tape out here. We'll see what we get, but we are going into earnings season. This coming Wednesday, it'll kick off with the big bank stocks. You're going to have JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Wells Fargo reporting on Wednesday. More big banks are scheduled to follow on Thursday. And don't forget, we have options expiration for the month of April this coming Friday. So that's always a week of institutional game playing, especially in the popular stock. So it'll be interesting to see this week. But the key component to everything is volume. And the volume has really fallen off a cliff lately. So I think traders have to watch the volume. If we start to see heavy volume on the sell side, then you start to get really, really cautious.
Yeah, so we got to watch it. If it really spikes on the downside, then we know we're in for something.
That's right. And unless we have heavy volume, this market is just going to play institutional games going into the Friday expiration.
All right. And so, hey, what about gold and silver? You still liking the pattern there? They're down a little bit today. They kind of failed at resistance. Could be a little painting of the tape here.
Oh, yeah. They're just doing exactly what they're supposed to do. So say looking at gold futures today, we are looking at a move down about 13 points. But we've had such a big run. It's natural to see a little bit of a pullback, especially going into the 50-day moving average. That's what gold did on Friday, just missed it. And you're pulling back a little bit, but this is nothing more than consolidation at this stage. So no problems here right now. Gold miners are getting hit a little bit today. They're down about 2%, decent decline. But again, they went up into the 100-day moving average, and they're pulling back a little bit off of that. So that's expected. No real issue there. Nothing goes up in a straight line. You're going to get backing and filling. And I think that's what we're seeing there with the gold stocks.
Okay, so we like to see when it breaks its 50-day moving average, right? And then it pulls back. That's a good sign.
We like to see a test. We like to see ultimately get above there on a closing basis. Gold futures did not do that, but they got very close last week on Thursday and Friday to the 50-day. Then they backed off a little bit. So right now we're consolidating below there. Once we get above there, I think you're going to see gold go to 1,800. You also have a 100-period moving average on a daily chart of gold futures. That's around 1,809. So just expect that to be your next major resistance point. But at the moment, we still got to get above the 50-day, which is just around 1,758. And again, we're backing off as we went into it. We're backing off of it now. So we'll see a little bit more consolidation most likely.
All right. So we got to break 1758 and then the move goes, huh?
Yep. Then you're into 1,800 and that's your next big resistance level. Then after that, it's 1,860. And then after that, it's all-time highs.
All right. Well, hey, from your mouth, we will see what happens here. And the dollar has been really strong recently, hasn't it?
Well, the dollar has been better, but it has started to back off a little bit late. I'm going to say about 7-8 days ago. So the dollar went up into resistance. It's pulling back now, and we'll see what it does, going forward. But all in all, the dollar's had a pretty good move. I think the dollar in 2021 actually holds up pretty well. I don't see it breaking down, but at the moment, it has been backing off a little bit over the past 7-8 trading days. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. But I still think, I know everybody tries to compare gold and the dollar. I still think gold, the backdrop is so good here with all the money printing, with all of the borrowing from the United States. I mean, it's just astronomical of the amount of money that is in the system. So that's really the backdrop for gold ultimately.
So Nick, you still thinking that we're going to see a broader decline or a broad decline in the major averages? You still sticking to that?
I am still sticking to that. I think that is coming. I think right now now we're in the making of most likely a blow off top. But the 1 year of a decade is always very, very volatile. And, we've seen unprecedented central bank money printing around the world. It's not just the Federal Reserve doing it. It's every central bank, Bank of Japan, the ECB, People's Bank of China. We could just go on and on. But there's a lot of problems out here. We have froth like we've never seen before. And I think ultimately this is going to be very problematic for the markets.
A lot of problems. So eventually, but we got like mountains of money just being poured in here, just trying to literally, it's like the little Dutch boy with his finger in the dike, right? Trying to stop the leak.
Yeah, it is. But the bottom line is sometimes it takes a big event like that to tell the central bankers, hey, you're on the wrong path. They just can't print endlessly, even though I think they can. But the markets will tell them otherwise.
And it's just a question of when, not if.
I think it's very soon, actually. So it's not a question of a long wait. I think it's around the corner. But ultimately, we'll know that sign when we see the high volume reversal.
No doubt. And I'm sure you're right. I'm sure it's coming, just like you were right about gold breaking 1,700. Who would have ever thunk that, especially when it hit an all-time high back in August 7th of 2020. But here we are. It's struggling around the mid-1700s, trying to break through its 50-day moving average, thus far unsuccessfully, but I have a feeling it's going to change shortly. So if you're thinking things aren't what they seem and you need to be prepared, go over to inthemoneystocks.com. A couple of trades there. Nick is saying that the gold trade could be the trade of the decade, along with the other trades that are there. Big trades. You really need to know about them. Inthemoneystocks.com. The Twitter feeds are at ITMS, at Nick Santiago 01, at Kerry Lutz, and of course send your emails to us, kl@kerrylutz.com. And Nick, we will pick up tomorrow.
Sounds good, Kerry. Thank you.
And so concludes another episode of Daily Market Wisdom with Master Trader Nick Santiago. Be sure to go to his website, inthemoneystocks.com. Don't forget the Twitter feeds at ITMS and at Nick Santiago 01.